Hey, we're Two Door Cinema Club, and you're live in Limbo.
We've got the time. Gonna work, it's worth it, found the perfect crime. You don't need to know what everybody's thinking.
Hi, I'm Shannon with Live in Limbo, and I'm sitting here with Two Door Cinema Club. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well?
Good.
Yes, how
are you
are you?
excited to play? Oh, I'm great. You know,
Good.
a little bit cold out, but I'm surviving.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you got no pants on.
I know. I was like
that's
running.
crazy.
I was actually running through here, and there's no heat in this place. Like,
Nope.
what? What? 21st
Well, I mean, it's your
century?
fault, really. It's not really this fault. It's this
Okay,
place's
you
fault,
sound
right?
like my mom right now. Like, Shannon,
Strictly
you
a
should.
pants zone.
Okay, well, that's not the kind. That's not the kind of world I
All
want
right.
to live in. Are you guys excited to play your show tonight?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to start off with congratulating you guys on your release of Game Show.
Thank you.
It's kind of cliche, but for real, like so worth the wait. An unreal album.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
I love it. I got like the notification on Spotify when it came out, and I was like, this is an album that I want to dance to at like 2 a.m. for the rest of my life.
Good.
I'm not even kidding. It was awesome. So you guys came back with an album that is so different than anything you've released before. So where did you guys draw inspiration from for this album?
It's a very difficult question because there was so much time between this one and the last one. So I mean, we finished touring at the end of 2013, and then we kind of we took a break from the band completely. So there was no writing, no recording, no touring, and that kind of opened us up to a life that we'd never led before, and so that kind of generated a lot of new ideas and a lot of different inspirations. You know, just from these kind of new weird lives that we were getting used to, and then. I don't know. Once we were ready to write again, it was just totally fresh, and we hadn't even really seen each other much for a long time before we got together to make the record, and there was just a new kind of excitement there, and that definitely kind of spurred us on to try and do something, do whatever we wanted to do. It felt that after the break and coming back, that there were less, if no limits, and we were having fun with it again. That's the most important thing, is that the fun, you know, the more you do something, especially if you're doing it constantly, the fun begins to drain out of things, even if it's the best thing in the world.
It's like doing anything.
Oh,
You
yeah,
do it a lot,
absolutely.
you get bored of it.
And so we just there were no restrictions. The sky was the limit once we got into the studio, and so it led us to do some pretty interesting things.
Well, for sure. I'm really digging like the 80s sound that you guys have going on. I love it. The electric piano and all of that. So do you guys have any your favorite tracks off the album?
It's very hard. It's fun now because we're playing some of them live, and so they've sort of taken on a new life. So yeah, at the minute, I guess it's fun. The ones we're playing, I guess something like Je viens de là or Fever are really fun at the minute. But yeah, it's a hard one.
Everything is my favorite song of the album.
Great.
Yes.
That's how I feel.
No, actually, like I think probably Lavender is probably my favorite one, and Invincible. I don't know, something.
All right.
I really like driving to that song. I don't know.
Cool.
Is that weird?
No, that's
Whatever you do in your spare time with your music is up to you.
Yeah, I know. Like sit in my driveway and put a CD in and just, you know,
Up to you.
like the loner I am.
Do what you want.
So you said kind of touched on playing tracks live. Is there any tracks that you're like, even old ones that you always love coming back to and playing live?
I guess the ones that were successful the last time around. You know, it still blows my mind to think how long ago we released our first record. But the kids that we're playing to now were even younger kids then, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm meeting guys after shows they tell me that they bought our first record when they were like 13 years old.
That
and
was me. Yep.
yeah, and,
Yeah.
you know, these kids are like some of them are in their 20s now, and so they grew up with these songs. They went through high school with these songs, and so songs like What You Know and Undercover Martin and Something Good Can Work, the things that we had reasonable hits with on the first record. There's just a feeling of so much joy when we play those on stage. I mean, we definitely got tired of them. We got sick of them, playing them every single night and promoting them and all the rest of it. And so we did become a little bit frustrated with having to play them every night. And like I said, the fun was draining out of things, and it was just tiring. But after the break and the coming back refreshed, like I keep saying, you feel that emotion, when you play one of those songs on stage, and you can look into people's eyes and you see them light up with, and you feel their memories and their love for these things from their childhood almost.
Yeah, well, for me it was like high school. Like your albums were like defined my like beginning years of high school, so that's weird for me to like look back on that and then have this now defining like my university years, I guess. So what I personally, as someone who loves like deep meanings and political messages and all that kind of stuff, your album has like a pretty deep message to it, especially like Are We Ready when it came out, and it kind of talks about like, I guess, the culture that we're living in. So when you were writing that, like, were you kind of just looking around and seeing everything and putting that into songs?
Yeah. I mean, when we came back to doing this, so much had changed, and it wasn't just within the music world. The internet has kind of infiltrated every single aspect of life, and it's just changed us as a species. It's completely torn up the rule book, as how we live, how we communicate, how we interact. And there's something kind of uncomfortable, even scary about that for me. And I don't trust technology. I think that's I don't trust us. I don't trust humanity with technology.
I know, I feel the same way.
We're gonna destroy ourselves with it one day, and it's already becoming so powerful. And that just made me want to write about it. Get whatever was inside me, that was thinking about it, put that into a song. Yeah.
Well, like I kind of grew up on like the cusp of the age where technology was kind of everything. Like I had like a BlackBerry as my first phone, but I look at like my younger sister's generation, and they grew up with iPhones in their hand, and it's like changed people. Like you can't have a conversation with someone without like phone going off. So like me hearing Are We Ready, I was like, this is a great song. And also talking about how you kind of said how like things have changed us as a species. I have a book recommendation for you. Read Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. Okay. The most amazing book I've ever read. It will change your life. I'm not even kidding you. Read it.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. So talking about social media, you said you don't like it. It's kind of weird because you can not know someone at all, but almost know someone, right? So your opinion on that, you're just like, you could do without it altogether?
Yeah, I mean, I could do that. I don't use it. But it's not that I don't like it. I see what's good about it. I see, but it's so new and it's so alien to how we function, how our minds work, that we're only destined to abuse it. And it forms addictions in everyone, and that's become commonplace now, and it's not even considered something that's unhealthy anymore to be checking your phone 20, 30, 40 times a day, which it's totally ridiculous. But for that to have become the norm is totally wrong. And so it's that kind of idea that I don't agree with. It's being used in a very unhealthy way. It's controlling every aspect of our day, really.
Yeah. Well, if you people who drink every day are alcoholics, but someone who checks their phone every 20 seconds isn't
is regular. They're
exactly.
ordinary, yeah.
No, I even catch myself doing it. And I'm like, why do I care? Like, why do I care so much what's on the internet? So we're gonna kind of switch over. Like, one of my favorite questions to always ask is, how do you guys find new music?
Well, that's another thing that I feel has massively changed in the past 4 or 5 years, especially for me. It was always from blogs or friends or recommendations, or when I was younger, going to a record store or songs you heard on the radio. But, it took, in that kind of that real switch between iTunes and Apple Music or Spotify, I felt like I was in a real void in the middle for a while of going, I don't really know. In many ways, I really love the kind of curation and the playlist stuff of Spotify and Apple Music, but I like the idea of them putting things to me that they think I'm going to like, but then over time, I start to get a bit frustrated that there's things that I'm probably going to miss out on, because I don't think music is a formula like that, and I don't think
it's not an
whether
algorithm.
radio stations or wherever shouldn't program music based on data or algorithms, and I don't think that's how I want to listen to music, or that's not how I decide what I like. So yeah, still
figuring it out.
But I'm mostly I would say from Spotify or other discovery from other blogs.
Yeah, well, Spotify is like the Discover Weekly stuff, which is pretty cool. You know, you can always find like newer artists who aren't like on the radio yet, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I think it definitely is good, and it definitely has in some respects leveled the playing field for a lot of bands.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of noise as a result, but
yes, I agree with that.
It depends, and I think that's part of the problem, is that you have to be a real music fan to cut through the noise. But if you're not, and you're just you want to just hear something fun or something you like, there's then becomes a bigger reliance and a much more, the business of one hit wonder sort of territory gets a lot stronger in this, when there's people not willing to sift through the shite to get to the
That's
stuff
true.
that they like.
It's kind of all like, especially like it's all like songs on a playlist, and you hear one song and you never like go to listen to the rest of the artist, and you could be missing out on like your favorite artist ever.
Sure.
I find myself doing that sometimes, and I always try to like, okay, I'll give their whole album a chance.
Yeah, that's natural, and to be at least aware of it is part of, I'm sure you're part of the very small minority that are at least aware of it. There's I don't think you're part of the problem.
Well, thank you. So to finish it off, what do you guys have planned for the next like upcoming years? The year's closing, so any big plans?
The year is closing. We're just going to tour in America for the rest of this month anyway. And then we're sort of just preparing for the season of Advent, really, and just looking forward to some time off at Christmas.
The best time of the whole year.
Yeah.
Yep. What about 2017? Anything planned?
Lots of touring. Yes, more shows everywhere.
Yep.
Outside of that, not a lot of time for much else. But it's grand. We're having fun.
That's good. Okay, well, thank you so much for sitting down with us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Have fun at your show tonight.
We will.